ready for my next step, which is going to be putting my collard greens into the sink to clean them. I haven't actually made collard greens in a while, so today I am going to be making some. I actually really had a taste for some and thought, I'm like, it's been about a year and a half. I don't think I have actually cooked them. If I did, maybe it was once or maybe one time since moving about a year and a half ago. So I was like, hey, it's time for some collard greens. That is just way too long. But today I'm going to be getting these cleaned and into the pot. So that is kind of my next step. So I'll show you the collard greens here in just a moment. All right, guys, look at those collard greens. Actually, they are a really nice bunch. Actually, I got two bunches because my husband always says that they cook down quite a bit, and I agree they do. So I was like, well, just go ahead and get two bunches. Although I'm not trying to spend a lot of time in the kitchen today with so many other things to do, like most of you, I'm sure. But I did want to ensure that my sink was nice and clean and safe and ready for me to put the collard greens into the sink. Disinfecting is the key, and I hope you guys do the same thing. That's a part of kind of me showing this part of the process, because not disinfecting between steps can really make a big situation potentially for your health and your families if you are not disinfecting between cooking and things that you put into your sink. So definitely make sure you disinfect your sinks, and definitely I wanted to make sure I did a very thorough process today because I am actually, I just washed some chicken wings before this step. So I definitely wanted to make sure I got rid of all the bacteria and clean the sink very well. So just as a FYI reminder to you guys, I'm sure you guys already know this, but it's always helpful to hear it from other people. So now I'm going to just go ahead and get started on washing these. And I already have my turkey in the pot. And so typically I usually cook collard greens in one of two ways. Typically I will either use turkey and boil that, or I tend to saute or steam my collard greens down with a little bit of a sort of fat meat or pork or something like that, or bacon style meat. So that's typically how I do mine, but nothing very special about cooking collard greens. I think one thing that I have learned, particularly over the years in cooking, I've been cooking since I was about 12 years old. I am now in my 40s. I'm very proud to say that I consider myself to be a pretty good cook. And so thankful to my grandmothers as well as my parents for that kind of inspiration and raising, because I'm thankful that I can prepare some good meals for my family. And so, yes, I'm going to be getting right into doing this now. As I said, I got my turkey boiling. I'm going to be boiling these today to kind of get some of that smoke flavor, and I'll drop back in just a moment. All right, guys, I just wanted to drop back in because I'm starting to de-stem. I guess that's the correct way to say what I'm doing kind of in the process right now. But I am just moving the collard greens from the stem. I don't want too much stem in there. I know some people, they tend to like a little bit more stem, and that's okay as well. Whatever your preference is on that, that's perfectly fine. Kind of to each his own. But what I wanted to say, I think I left off in the previous statement that I was making. Not only am I thankful to my parents and my grandmothers who taught me so much about cooking, but I think the other part of that, I've adopted some practices myself. I think up until this point in cooking for so many years now. But one thing that I wanted to say really quickly in making collard greens, I think I've seen people talk about all the things that they put in their collard greens, and that's fine too. Again, it's preference. But I think one thing that I've learned in seeing from cooking them for many years myself, as well as watching my grandparents and my parents cook, as well as I recently saw something from, I want to say it was, I think it was John Legend visited his grandmother, and she was telling him that the simpler, the better. And I totally agree with that. You don't need all this different stuff in your collard greens. Some people, they start to put all these different things and seasonings and spices. And again, that's fine if you like that. But what I have learned about collard greens, and I've tasted other people's collard greens, the simpler really is kind of the better when it comes to making your collard greens, because sometimes all of those extra spices that really don't match, for me personally, the taste of collard greens, just kind of takes on another kind of flavor or experience for me with collard greens. And so I just kind of like to stick to my basics when I'm cooking collard greens, you know, boil them or however you like to get them started in your pot. And just kind of sticking to the basic seasonings, salt and pepper, you know, maybe, you know, a few other things like Miss Dash or some mild seasonings. But I think the thing is just not going overboard with your spices and seasonings. And so you guys can see these collard greens are very dirty. So again, another thing that I personally encourage, you don't have to do this. Definitely stick to what you kind of do as your process. I like to wash clean each of my leaves individually. And that's why this time I told my husband, hey, only get 2 bunches, particularly if they're pretty big size bunches, because this process can be pretty time consuming. And right now, as I've shared with many of you, I feel like very limited time all the time right now, because again, I'm still trying to really organize my home, trying to organize my life from a very huge move, as I've said and shared with many of you, a very huge move from about 1.5 years ago, which was June of 2023. So I know that's been a little while now, but guys, it was such a huge move and I'm still exhausted. And I know sometimes people be a little exhausted hearing me say that, but it really was a very huge move. And I've done majority of the unpacking and the organizing for the home, and I'm still going through a lot of that, as well as we know, we just had the holidays and trying to, you know, prepare and get things ready for that process and as well. And so, but yes, I just wanted to just gotta show you guys or share with you guys kind of what I'm doing right now. As I said, in the kitchen today, just de-stemming the collard greens here. And so I'm just taking them away from a lot of the stem. Don't want too much stem. Again, also just to tell you guys, if a lot of you don't know this, the more stem you have, sometimes the longer it takes to kind of cook them as well. So just wanted to kind of share that as well. But I've got a few of them already de-stemmed here in the sink, and as I've said, you can see the dirt on many of the leaves. And so I'm definitely going to be washing each of these leaves individually, because I do not want any dirt in my greens, and I want them to be clean. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. But I will check back in just a little bit. So just definitely hang tight, and I'll show you kind of where I am as I get through the process, probably once I get everything into the pot. And so I will be right